Hello, I'm Dr. Graham Macaloney, the master whisky maker here at Macaloney's Island Distillery, where we also actually do Twa Dogs beers, craft beers. And although we're talking about making wash or fermenting wash for whisky, I'm going to start off with talking about pale ale beer, so we can compare and contrast. So they're very similar. They both use pale malt. Of course, pale ale beer uses the hops, but we'll forget that for the moment. And so when you're doing a pale ale beer, you would add your yeast to the wort, and you would ferment out for about 5-6 days, and then you'll condition for 2 or 3 days just to allow the flavours to round off and develop, etc. And you hold the temperature during a pale ale fermentation for beer at 18 degrees Celsius. Now that's the traditional pale ale process. When you're doing whisky wash, same fermentation equipment, but this time we don't really control the temperature. Yes, we'll put the wort the wort in at 18 degrees Celsius, but we let that temperature shoot up because of the heat of metabolism from the yeast right up to 30 degrees. And so literally this fermentation is over and done with, in a kind of day and a half, maybe 30 hours or so. And then we will actually let it condition for up to 3 days that it will spend in the tank. Back in Scotland, they normally would only take 2 days because they're generally wanting to push more washes through to make more whisky. But we, thanks to Dr. Jim Swan, take 1 extra day just to let this condition, just like you would condition a pale ale, if you will, to build up those flavours. So the one other thing that we do here, because we're a brewery, we actually have some chilling on the fermenter, and so after that day and a half, once it's moved in temperature from 18 to 30 degrees, we'll actually hold it at 30 degrees. But really the fermentation is pretty much done by then. So very traditional fermentation, as you would see in Scotland. Sometimes you might see wooden washbacks as opposed to stainless steel fermenters. People claim that the wooden washbacks might have some natural flora, some wild yeast in there. But actually Dr. Jim Swan, who had a PhD in whisky making, he said, stainless steel fermenters are going to give you just the same complexity because any wild flora, wild yeasts, they're coming in on coating the barley, right, the malted barley. So you're introducing lots of wild yeast if they're there into the fermenter, even if it's a stainless steel fermenter. So the one last thing I'll share with you is the yeast is very important for whisky making, as it is for beer. And typically in the Scotch industry, they'll use an M1 yeast, okay? And this yeast has been designed for making whisky. It's very high alcohol tolerant, and it will make lots and lots of whisky. However, here, and most of the Scotch and Irish will use M1. Here, we decided, when I was designing the process with Dr. Jim Swan, we decided to add a second yeast. And that second yeast, we can't disclose exactly what species it is, but we chose that to ferment out some natural oils. And those natural oils then will give you a creamy mouthfeel in the whisky. So that's the overview then of whisky wash fermentation. Hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to talking to you again.